Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Hello, Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, CHULLIN Daf Tzadi Aleph. We begin 7 lines from the top of the Amud Tashma. So this links back to the question that was posed yesterday. Which one of the two sides, which one of the Gid HaNashas are Asr? Is it the sciatic nerve inside the right thigh of the animal or the left thigh? So we have a machlekes. According to the Chachamim, according to the sheet of the Tanakama mentioned in our Mishnah, actually, it applies equally to both sides, the right and the left. So the Gid HaNasha on the right is Asr, likewise in the left. However, according to Rabbi Yehuda, only one of those two are Asr. Which one? He used the term as follows: V'hadas machras shal yamin. It appears that in fact it's the right. The Gemara was not sure what he had in mind. Is it just sort of a preference, a probability, and it's still really in doubt? We're not really sure, is it the right or the left? It appears to be the right, but we're not. Or is it conclusive? Rabbi Yehuda concludes definitively that in fact it's only the right Gid HaNasha and not the left. So which way is it? Is it a suffix on both? Uncertainty on both? Or is it a vada, a certainty only on the right? Tashma, here comes another attempt at resolving this issue. We have a brisa as follows. It's a tesefta. Ochel mizeh kezayis. So he gets up and eats a kezayis worth. Kezayis, volume of the right Gid HaNasha. Umizeh kezayis. And then an hour later he was warned again. Don't do that. He ate another kezayis of the left side. Soifeik shemaynim. Okay, a double portion of Gid HaNasha gets him a double portion of Malchus, 80. He violated it twice. That is Tanakama. And according to Tanakama's view, that the Isser applies equally to the right and to the left. However, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Ein Soifeik al Arbaim. Only gets a total of 40 Malchus, one set of Malchus. Because only one of the two is really Asr. The question is, how at all is he getting punished? Look, if we're not sure which one is Asr, invariably the warning is going to be a warning in doubt. I mean, you could warn him all day, but if you don't know for sure which one it is, don't eat this one, maybe it's Asr. Okay, now later, don't eat that one, maybe it's... Ultimately, it's Hasras Suffix. It's a sort of doubtful warning. He's not going to take you seriously unless you present it to him as an absolute Isser. Hasras Suffix has no value, has no validity. You can't punish him on account of this shaky warning. So how is it that he's even getting one portion of Malchus? Oh, certainly it's going to work if Rabbi Yehuda has a definite view on it, that it's just the right one. And so if he ate the right and the left, he gets Malchus for the right one. But if Rabbi Yehuda wasn't really sure which one is the forbidden one, so each one on its own is really only a suffix, in which case the warning that precedes that consumption is Hasra suffix and has no validity in terms of triggering punishment. We know that Rabbi Yehuda holds the Amar who says Hasra suffix is not going to be counted. Lo yishma Hasra doesn't count Hasra. The Sani, where do we find that discussion? This is on a different topic. We know there's a prohibition against striking one's father or cursing one's father. Suppose he doesn't know which one is his father. He was born too soon after the second marriage. Not sure if Shimon, the second husband, is really his father. Perhaps Reuven, the first husband. And he struck at both. The Sanya. Hika Eseh. He struck at Reuven after being warned not to do so. And then an hour later, he struck at Shimon after being warned not to do so. Or he cursed them both separately. Kilel Eseh, v'chazar v'kilel Eseh. He cursed this one and then that one. Or if he did them both simultaneously in one experience, after being warned, Hika Shneim Vasachas, he struck at both in one shot, or Shekilo Shneim Vasachas, or he cursed them both in one utterance, or one experience. Chayav. Either way, he's chayav because ultimately between both of them he struck his father. That's Tanakama. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Rabbi Yehuda says it has to be asras vadai. When you warn him, it has to be conclusive. You can't just say, well, don't strike him or don't strike him just in case one of the... Rabbi Yehuda Eimer b'vasachas chayav. If he struck them both together in one shot after being warned not to do so, he's chayav because ultimately, right, between the two of them, one was his father. And since it was done in one experience and one maisa, after being warned not to do so, he has ignored that warning, transgressed the Isser, and he's chayiv. But b'zechar zeh patur, if it happened sequentially, he did one father at a time, after being warned separately, he's patur, because each one on its own, independent of the other one, is not a vadai. Okay, clearly Rabbi Yehuda holds, hasra as-safek has no validity. So back to the fellow who consumed both Gid HaNashas from the right and from the left in separate experiences, after being warned separately on each one, how could he be chayiv even one? Because it's a safek. Hasra safek has no validity. Answers the Gemara, Hai Tana Savala Ki'idach Tana de Rabbi Yehuda. The Tana of the Brisa, who presented that according to Rabbi Yehuda there is malchus upon eating the double Gid HaNasha. What about Asra Safek? I'll tell you what's going on. This Tana had a different version of Rabbi Yehuda's position, that in fact, he'll maintain Asra Safek has validity. The other version of Rabbi Yehuda, the Amra Asra Safek Shma Asra. Asra Safek does count. The Sani, we have a Brisa to that effect. It's a Sir Menot Biker. The Torah warns us against leaving over the meat of the korban until morning, and if one does so, the Torah instructs him to burn it. By telling us to burn it, Torah is giving us sort of a way out to resolve this issue, to rectify the transgression of Naisar. If you left it over, burn it. Torah is capping the lois asay with an asay. You shouldn't do it, but if you do it, this is how you fix it up, you burn it. Leimar, which tells us, she'ein like olav, there's no malchus. Ain't like an olav because it's called a lav hanita klasei, a lav which is linked to an asay, which sort of rectifies it and it mitigates the whole lav, and there's no malchus. Okay? Divi Rabbi Yehuda. So says Rabbi Yehuda. Now let's stop for a second. Even without this new element of lav hanita klasei, why would you get malchus at all for leaving over basar? How could you warn him? How could you punish him? It's a suffix all throughout the night. Hey, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? Leave it. Oh, it's left time. 4 o'clock. It's left time. You can never really, conclusively, hold him against the wall. Maybe he'll take care of it later. So at most you can warn him, hey, listen, you're taking your chances. Don't diddle daddle. You might come to leave it over. And you know what? You can't really catch him at that last moment. Right before daybreak, it's impossible to time it properly. So inevitably, every hasra regarding Naisar is really hasra suffix. Why are we even considering malchus? Apparently, Rabbi Yehuda holds, according to this version, that hasra suffix does count. And the earlier brisa, you had this view of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yaakov Omer, let's just finish this brisa. He says, no, Leiben Hashem Uzeh. The reason why there's no malchus for Naisar is not on account of Rabbi Yehuda's reason, because it's nitik lasei. Rather, it's because it's a lav that's not entirely a physical act. It's not a positive violation. It's sort of a passive neglect of the obligation. It's passive. A whole lav shem b'maisa, lav which does not involve a physical action. Ain't like an olav. There's no malchus for that. Okay. In any case, we haven't really resolved Rabbi Yehuda's. What is Rabbi Yehuda's position regarding the Gid HaNasha? We know it's going to be the right, not the left, but is that for sure, or is it just a suffix? Tashma comes the final raya, which will give us clarity. So this brisa speaks about a similar type of case, but slightly different than the previous one. Tashma, achal beis gidin, mi beis yireches, mi beis behemes. He had 2 animals lined up. He had two gid anashas coming from two thighs from two animals. Now, the fact that we speak about two animals indicates that we're not speaking about right and left, because otherwise, why would you need two animals? We're speaking about rights. He ate two rights. Two gid anashas coming from the right thighs of two animals. Okay, what happens? Seifik pay. He gets a double portion of malchus, 40 times 2. Why? Because he violated twice. Rabbi Omer einoi seifik el arbaim. Only gets 40 malchus one time. Why? We'll get to that soon. In any case, what pertains to us is the fact that the Brisa troubled itself to a case of two animals with two thighs. Apparently, we're trying to relate to only right thighs. Otherwise, you don't need two animals. If it's going to be right and left, just do it from the same animal. Oh, pshita, so it's clear that Tavaili Surah. The Brisa is trying to allude to a case where we ate one gid anasha followed by the other, which are both forbidden. They're both on the right thigh of an animal. And the point is to highlight Rabbi Yuda's shita, as we're going to get to that soon. Even though they're both asr, he only gets one malchus. For whatever reason, we'll get to that soon. In any case, what pertains to us is, and now we can conclude definitively, Shmamina, we can learn from this that in fact, mivshat pshita, that according to Rabbi Yudah, it's clear that it's the right. Otherwise, if it's perhaps the left, then he wouldn't get any malchus for eating two rights. Shmamina? Okay, so that's the conclusion. So after all said and done, which gid anasha is asr? Rabbanan say both right and left. Rabbi this is only the right. Now back to this brisa. You're thinking, why? Why according to Rabbi is there only one set of malchus if he ate two gid anashas from the right side? They're both asr. If it's clear to him that's the right that's forbidden, why is he only getting 40 malchus for sulay and not double that much? Lilki pay, you should get 80. Oh. The answer is like this. What happened was that each individual sciatic nerve did not encompass a kazayas of a volume. It was a miniature animal, miniature gid anasha. It was a full gid anasha, full entity, but less than a kazayas worth of material. And that's an interesting question. Typically, one is only liable upon eating the volume of an olive, of a kazayas of isser material. But there's one exception. If it's a berry, a bria, a full entity, a full creation, like a worm, a snail, a full thing. So the chashivas, the prominence, compensates for its smallness and size. Now, you can wonder, what about a gid anasha? How do you treat it? Is it considered a complete entity? Is it just a piece of flesh like anything else, which needs a kazayas? So you say, no, it's like a bria. In which case, even if it's small in size, it has prominence. It's a full entity, and you would need a kazayas to be in violation. So this is machlokes. Sanya ochle ve'em kazayas chayiv. According to Tanakama, if one eats a full gid anash, even if it does not encompass a kazayas, he's fully chayiv because of its prominence. Rabbi Omer Achiba kazayas. No, unless it has a kazayas, he's not in violation. Okay, so that's exactly what happened here. He ate two gid anashas, but each one on its own did not have a kazayas of volume, which is the minimum requirement for liability. According to Tanakama, that's irrelevant because a gid anasha has its own prominence, its own identity. If he eats a full gid anasha, he's chayiv regardless of its miniature size. Rabbi Yudah takes issue with that. He says, unless it's a kazayas, you're not chayiv, and therefore, in this case, even though he ate two gid anashas, he's only chayiv once, because between the both of them, he ended up with the kazayas. He's only chayiv once on eating a kazayas of a gid anash. Okay. Now back to the focal point of our sugya. Gid anasha applies to the right and left, according to the chachamim, according to Rabbi, only the right. Why? What's the what are the reasons behind these positions? Why is that so? Why is it, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is it only relevant on the right gid anasha? Amar Rava, Amar Kra, the pasuk says that because of that episode, because of the incident, the struggle, the fight between Yaakov Avinu and the Malach of Esav, where the Malach struck at his thigh, dislocated his Giranasha, Bnei Yisrael will no longer eat the Giranasha, Asher al Kaf, which is situated on the kaf, in the the round, circular part of meat, the kaf Yerechai of his thigh. Asher al Kaf ha-yarech. Ha-yarech is an extra hey. The yarech, the more prominent, the right one. Amakra ha-yarech means ham yumenas b'yarech, the more prominent, the right one. You mean? V'Rabbanan, who hold that it applies to both sides. So why the extra hey, ha-yarech? Hahu, that's coming to teach us the pashat isurei b'kula yerech. Which one? Which sciatic nerve is asur? The one that's inside, that spreads throughout the whole thigh, that sort of snakes its way by the bones. Lafuki chitzon d'lo, as opposed to the external nerve, which is sort of more on the surface. That's not alluded to in the pasuk. That has to be the main primary giranasha. Rabbi Shmuel Levi Amar, he gives another pshat. Why, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's the right only. Amakra, the pasuk says, Behafka imay. So this happened when he was struggling with him, he was wrestling with him. Like two wrestlers, face to face, he's sort of they're wrapping each other, and his right hand reaches around his opponent, all the way to the right side, the right thigh of his opponent. That's what he struck, that's what he hurt. So it's limited to the right side. And his hand reaches over around to the right thigh of his opponent. Hence, only that side was dislocated and affected by this episode. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani Amar, another reason why, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's the right side only. The malach of that represented the power of Esav, of Edom, of Seir, he appeared to him like a guy, like a human being, like a guy. In which case, Yaakov Avinu, in line with the directives of Chazal, angled himself in a manner that the guy would be to his right. This way he's near his right hand, and he can protect himself if the guy has any thoughts of a foul play. Dabar Maz, we learn in the halacha, Yisrael encounters a guy on the road. He should angle himself in a manner that the guy will end up to the Yid's right side, near his stronger hand, near the Yid's right hand, so that he can contend with the guy and his schemes. So likewise, over here the malach was to Yaakov Avinu's right, and when he struck over to Yaakov, he struck Yaakov Avinu's right side, which was right near him. Rav Shmuel bar Acha committed Rav Papa in front of Rav Papa, and Shmuel Rav bar Ula quoted Rav Ula Omar. Ki talmud-torah-comment nidmaloi. Actually, the malach appeared to Yaakov Avinu like a learned sage, like a talmud chacham, like a learned person. In which case, he had good reason to have him situated to Yaakov Avinu's right side. Amar, we learned, Hamalach l'min Rabbi Yarizabur. If you're walking along on the road to the right side of your Rebbe, that's bur. That's not the appropriate practice. It shows unlearnedness, right? Rather, you're supposed to be walking to the left of your Rebbe is to your right. Out of respect to the Rebbe. So here as well, he had the malach who appeared to him like a Talmud Chacham, situated to his right. So once again, the malach was in close proximity to Yaakov Avinu's right side, and that's where he struck him. Interestingly, I saw in the Svarim that the Gemara says that the Esav's malach appeared like a Talmud Chacham, like a Eved Kechavim. We know that the Yisarei Shel Esav represents the power of evil, power of Yetzer Hara, that constantly challenges us and gives us a run for our money. He can appear in two different ways. Sometimes Yetzer Hara tries to entice a person outright, go do something wrong. And sometimes he'll try to confuse a person by convincing him that this act is a mitzvah act, when it's anything but. That's what the Gemara means. There were two ways two manifestations of the Yetzer Hara, how he can appear and present himself to a person. He can appear like, go do something wrong, entices him to do something wrong outright. Sometimes he comes in a tricky way. Oh, he gives him all kinds of, rationalizations, why, to justify and to substantiate it as a positive thing, it's a mitzvah, and just tries to confuse a person to make right from wrong. Beautiful pshat that pertains to everybody all the time. Okay, so that's Rabbi Yehuda's approach. We have several reasons, several sources to explain why the Isser is limited to the right side, because that's the side that was harmed. Rabbanon who disagree, they hold that it applies equally to both sides. Actually, the Malach attacked him from behind, and he dislocated both, the right and left, at the same time. Hence, both were affected, both were forbidden. The pasuk bi'afka imay, which according to Rishon Levi's interpretation, provided sourcing for Yehuda. Bi'afka, like the wrestlers, and he reaches over to the other fellow. What do Rabbanan use this phrase for? Meaning, what's the purpose of the pasuk? Describing it this way, bi'afka imay. Let's just say that he struck him and done. What's the point of bi'afka imay? My darshibe. What do they apply this for? They needed to idach to Rishon Levi regarding another lesson taught to Rishon Levi himself. Damar Rishon Levi malamet shehelu avak, to show us, to highlight the intensity of the struggle. It rose all the way to Shemayim. It touched the core of our existence, the core of our mission in this world, this eternal struggle, the constant battle between Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara, between the Yid and the Goy, Yaakov and Esav. Malamet shehelu avak, they kicked up dirt, dust, all the way up, ad kisei hakavod, until the kisei hakavod. Ksiv hacha b'yavka imay. Over here we have the term b'yavka imay. Ksiv hasam. Elsewhere we have anan avak raglav, describing upstairs in Shamayim, the reglaim kaviyachal Hashem, avak raglav, all the way up to Shamayim. V'amar Rishon Levi, lama nikra shma Gid Hanasha. How did it get its name Gid Hanasha? Shenashim coming ve'Allah. It jumped out of its place. It was dislocated. V'chinu Omer. Likewise, we have in the pasuk Nashasok v'Rasam. Their strength left them, jumped away. Hoy l'nashim. They were weakened like women. Amar Yisrael Chanina. Ma'idach siv. Davar shalach b'Yaakov v'nafal b'Yisrael. What does this pasuk mean? It's referring to Gid Hanasha. Davar shalach b'Yaakov. So this incident struck Yaakov. This story happened with Yaakov, the Gid Hanasha. That's when his Gid Hanasha was harmed. V'nafal was injured. V'nafal b'Yisrael, and that affected all of Yisrael. Shepashat Yisur b'chol Yisrael. The Isser spread and affected all of Yisrael to refrain from the Gid Hanasha as a result. V'amar Rabbi Yisrael Chanina, ma'idach siv. More on the topic of Gid Hanasha. Let's go to the pasuk by Yosef HaTzadik, who told his people to prepare the meal for the Shvatim. U'tvoyach tevach v'hochein. What was that referring to? Paralehem beis hashchita. Tvoyach tevach, open up the place of tvicha, expose the cut, show them that it was shechted, so that they feel comfortable partaking in the meat. The word v'hochein, that's toil Gid Hanasha b'fneim. Remove the Gid Hanasha in their presence. They know that it was taken care of. Command the Amar. This is according to the Shita, in line with the opinion that Gid Hanasha was already asur, was already forbidden. Nashal b'nei Noach, when we were still before Matan Torah, we were called b'nei Noach. So the Isser was activated at that story, at the incident, rather than waiting until Matan Torah, and therefore the Shvatim adhered to this directive, and it had to be prepared accordingly. This is all due to the fact that Yaakov Avinu remained behind himself. Why was he himself? He had his whole family with him. Amar Lazar, he went back to fetch the empty containers there, the small containers, which had value to him, even though he had all he needed. But Mekan, we learn from here how important it is for a tzaddik to preserve his possessions. It's all dear to him, all has value, all part of his mission in this world. Avodas Hashem, tzaddikim shechav aleim mamoinim meisim regufim. For tzaddikim, in a certain extent, their money, their possessions are more dear than their own self. Just because it's low in value doesn't mean you have to leave it and for naught. He went back to fetch it, to bring it back, and that's when he encountered the malach. Why are they so careful about their possessions? Because it's erlich geld, it's honest money earned with integrity and honesty. It's part of their work, part of their mission in this world. They don't reach out to gezel, they don't partake in thievery and dishonesty. So even their mundane matters, their mundane possessions are laden with dedication, sacrifice, and holiness. He encountered the ish, this malach, who struggled with him until the morning. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, what else do we learn from this story? It only happened because he was there himself. Mekan, we learn from him a talmud chacham, who the evil spirits are jealous of because of his high stature. He is at risk of being attacked by these evil spirits and the malachim if he spends time himself at night. He shouldn't go out himself at night, because that's what happened to Yaakov Avinu when he was there himself. Rabbi Abba Rakano Amihacha, we have another source for this concept. We turn to Talmud Beis, when Naomi told Rus, her daughter-in-law, go find Boaz. He's going to take care of his threshing there in the granary, and you'll find him there at night. How did she know that he'll be there at night? Maybe he'll go back home. He's going to take care of his barley, because Talmud Chacham doesn't travel at night on his own. Rabbi Avo Amar Yachab, another source from Avram Avinu. So only in the morning did he go travel. Now, interesting that Tosfos asks if this is the pasuk by the Akedas Yitzchak. He didn't travel himself. He had Yitzchak. That's why Tosfos changes the wording in the Gemara. Instead of Vayashkim Avram Avik Vayachvayish Chamoirei, which is the pasuk prior to Akedas Yitzchak, he switches it to a different pasuk. Vayashkim Avram Avik El Hamakim. This is when Yaakov Avinu went to daven, by Stoim over there. So he went out himself, and he only did it in the morning to avoid being alone at night. Rabbanon Amri, they have another source. Mehacha lechna re'eh shleim achecha v'shleim atzoyin. Yaakov Avinu instructed Yosef to go see how his brothers are doing, and he used the word re'eh. Rashi says re'eh means during daylight when you can see easily. So he sent him out by day. Rav Amar Mehacha, Rav had a different pasuk by Yizrach le'ashemesh, and this relates to the next Gemara. We'll see at the end how this pasuk teaches us this point. Amar Rabbi Akiva, Sha'alti es Rabbi Gamliel. You should know, I once met Rabbi Gamliel, as Rabbi Yeshua. Where did I meet them? Be'itlis, in a butcher shop, no less, shell of the town Imum. Why were they there? Sha'ochel likach behema, they went to buy an animal, to celebrate the wedding of Rabbi Gamliel's son. And the Gemara elsewhere says that the point of highlighting the circumstance and the the location was to bring out how important Torah was to them, even when they were in the butcher shop, no less, standing on line for meat. They were involved in Divrei Torah, questioning and discussing words of Torah. That was their life. That was their life. Okay, so that was his question. Ksiv vayizach le'ashemesh. Interestingly, we find that the pasuk sort of relates the sun to Yaakov Avinu. In the morning, the sun shone for him. Loi. It's his personal sun. V'chi shemesh loi levad zarcha, only shown for him, but it's shown for everybody, shine for everybody. Amar Rabbi Rizal explained, this is the answer. Of course, it was shining for everybody. What the pasuk means to say is that there was some extra time of daylight there to make up, to compensate for lost time when the sun set prematurely at an earlier date due to Yaakov Avinu. So this time it made up for that. Shemesh habab avuri, the sun that set early on account of Yaakov Avinu. Zorcha bavuri, now Hashem made up for it, and it's shown extra for him on account of him, meaning to make up for that lost time. What do we find that it set early? So after the brachas, Yaakov left Beersheba, and he traveled and arrived at his destination. So he's already in Haran, which is deep in Syria. Uksiv, then we have a pasuk, he encountered the place, the Beis HaMikdash, the place of Hara Maria. How could that be? He was already far gone. He was already on the other side of it. This is what happened. When he arrived at his destination, Amar, he had second thoughts. He says, ooh, did I miss the holiest place, the Malkum of Tefillah, where my ancestors davened? How could it be that I passed through without without noting it. Elmar Efshar Varti, could it be that I passed over Al Mokim, on the location, the holy place, Hara Maria, which was the place she's Spalu Avoisai, where my parents davened, Avram Avinu davened there, Yitzchak davened there by the, it says L'soach Basada, right? He was Masakin Mincha there. That's the place to daven. Vanilo Yispalalti, and I just glossed over it before traveling out to look for a shidduch. Some tefillah in the Beis HaMikdash, in the Mokim HaMikdash. As soon as he sort of contemplated, he decided, okay, I'm going to go back. This is a lesson right away when a person has already a plan of action. He already has that determination to do something good. Hashem already gives him special heavenly assistance. Look what happened. Suddenly he finds himself back in the Miyad. He ended up on the Harabayas. Interestingly, Kafza doesn't mean that he took a flight, like, pictures of the wagon flying. No. Rashi says Kafza means compressing your hand. Niskatra v'niskamtzala, it shortened, it got condensed, it got contracted. So the like a kfitz, like a Hebrew, it's a kfitz, like a spring that's clamped together. So the land sort of condensed, contracted, and suddenly he finds himself on Har Bayis with very little travel time. Kaftzal Yara, Miyad Vivka Mokim. Rashi says Vayivka here has two meanings. It's a double meaning. Vayivka can mean you encounter somebody, and Vayivka also means Lashon Tefillah, or Tifka Bi. So both happened here, right? He encountered and he davened. Katzoli, when he started davening, Boila Miyadar. When he finished his tefillah, which tefillah we all know, right? He was Masak and tefillah's Arvis. He decided, okay, back to Charan. Hashem says, my good friend is in my abode. I'm going to let him go without a night's sleep. Tzaddik said, this great man, Bala Beis Maloni, ended up in my abode in the Beis HaMikdash. I'm going to send him off without, he's going to leave without staying overnight. He's my guest. Miyad Ba Hashem, suddenly it's dark and he can't travel. Oh, so we see from here that a Talmud Chacham should refrain from traveling at night. And the missing hours were made up later on by Yizrach Hashemesh, that Hashem lengthened the day to make up for this lost time. Interestingly, Ksiv, when Yaakov Avinu set up his bed, Vayikach took some of the local rocks to use as a pillow, as whatever, and suddenly, Ksiv, it says, Vayikach asa Evan. So it's actually the next morning, it says he got up and he took the single stone, but I thought it was many stones. Amar Yitzchak Malamed, we learn from here that the stones were vying. I want to serve the tzaddik. This is a very fundamental lesson that is taught in Mesilas Yesharim. In the beginning, in the first parak, he says, a person who does what he's supposed to do in this world elevates the mundane of the entire world. And the entire world is lucky and fortunate to be in his company, to be at his service. And he brings a raya from this very Gemara. The stones were vying to serve Yaakov Avinu, the great righteous tzaddik, because for them it's an elevation, it's a kedusha. For them to serve a tzaddik. We learn all the stones were sort of competing with each other, all jumping around, trying to be in that place. Each one was vying and saying, Allah Yaniyah Tzaddik Zeh Roishe, I wish the Tzaddik places his head on me. And guess what happened? Hashem made peace amongst them. Tana, we learned in a brayso, V'kulu nivlu ba'achas. They all sort of merged, fused into one stone. Hence, the pasuk says Vayikach asa Evan, because now it was only just one stone. Interestingly, the Medrash brings that the 12 stones were corresponding to the 12 Shvatim, and that now we understand how it all sort of blended into one, because they all sort of blended under Yaakov Avinu's auspices. He was sort of the one that fused them all together. Tited emes liYaakov, because when the ultimate goal is arriving at emes, at the truth, whichever path you take, whichever personality you have, ultimately it's for the sake of emes, which is the Bria HaTichain, right? The uniting theme and the unifying element amongst Klal Yisrael, which is emes, midah of Yaakov Avinu. Okay, now to his dream. Vayachlim, so as he's sleeping, he had a dream, he had a vision. V'nei sulam mutzav aretz. So we have this ladder coming from the down from the Eretz, Olei to Shemayim. Tana, we learned in a brayso. How wide, how big was it? Tana kama roch b'shasum. How wide was this ladder? Shmoinas. Alaf and parshanut is no less than 8,000 parsas, very wide. Chsiv, because the pasuk describes it as being a conduit for the malachim going up and down. V'nei malach alekim. The malachim were traveling up and down. Eilam v'yarden bay, going up and down. So at the same time we have malachim ascending as descending. Must be room for both to pass, right? Oilam shnaim, yod shnaim, two going up, two going down. When they encounter each other side by side, it's really four. Side by side, havla arba. Now, how big was each malach? By the malach, it says v'yasak is tarshish. His form was like a tarshish. What's tarshish? A certain sea. Well, we have a tradition. The tarshish tre'alfi parsi hava. The sea was 2,000 parsas, so times 4 is 8. Tana, we learned in the brayso. Oilan. The malachim traveled up the ladder, mistaklin, and they would observe, they would study, b'dikana shel malo, and the image of Yaakov Avinu that was embedded in the throne, in Hashem's throne in Shemayim. V'yarden, they would come back down, and they would look at the original. V'yarden, and mistaklin, b'dikana shel mata, and they would see Yaakov Avinu himself downstairs. And that evoked jealousy. A person, a basar v'dama, a human being should attain such lofty levels, even bigger than malachim. Bolus Kure, they wanted to attack him. He was in danger. Hashem came and protected him. Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish al Malam Mikra. Now for the pasuk actually saying it, it wouldn't be for us to say the Ef Shalom. We couldn't say it because it was like a father actually standing up, hovering. Ka'adam Shemenif, like a father who was holding this sort of hand fan, protecting his son from Shemenif al-Bnoi, waving it over his son to protect him from the sunlight and the heat. So was Hashem protecting Yaakov Avinu from the surrounding threats. Hashem promised him, look, the land that you're lying on is yours to keep, it's for your kids. My Rabbu say, look, how much land is it under a person? 4 amos. That's what he promised him. What's the big deal? Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, no, it was much more than that. It was a concentrated Eretz Yisrael. Hashem took the entire land of Eretz Yisrael and folded it up, condensed it, concentrated it. Placed it beneath him. What was the purpose? This way, it would be easier for his children to inherit the land, to banish the goyim, because now that he sort of put it in his hand, he put it beneath him, that sort of put it in his hand, gave him control, which, was just waiting for formality when Klal Yisrael entered and they completed the process. Okay, back to the struggle between Yaakov and Esav. So the Malach tells Yaakov Avinu, look, I gotta go, it's morning time. Please, let me go. Amalek, he says, what are you worried about, the police? Are you a bank robber? Amalek, Ganavata, you're a thief, a kavyustasato, a kidnapper, who's afraid of daylight. Shemishyar ben Ashach is afraid of daylight. What are you rushing? Amalek says, no, Malach, I'm actually a Malach. He didn't realize that he was a Malach. He thought he was a guy, all right, like we said before. Look, this is my opportunity, once in a lifetime opportunity to sing to Hashem from the day that I was created. Never was summoned. I never got the opportunity. I was never invited to say Shira to Hashem until now. Now the obvious question is, pink today, pink now, just now. Why this this timing? So I saw a beautiful word. I forget from whom he says that. Explained that the act of shira, the experience of singing to Hashem, is attachment, is dveikus b'Hashem. It only happens when the malach fulfills his mission. Then he totally cleaves back to his source. He connects back to Hashem upon completing his mission. When did the power of evil, the Sar of Esav, the Yetzer Hara, who was represented in this form here, right? When did he complete his mission? What is his mission? To challenge us, to give us a hard time, to give us any yisayim, to make it difficult for us to rise in greatness. But ultimately, his goal is that we win over him, right? He's trying to do Hashem's will, which is that we should prevail. He's just giving us an enticement. He's just challenging us to make it more difficult, to make it self-earned, right? So that our shleimus, our completion, our earnings are self-made, are self-earned. Hence the whole struggle, the whole challenge. But really, it's just sort of an illusion. It's just there to give us the opportunity to win him over. So once he won him over, Yaakov Avinu won him over, that's it, job's done. Completed his mission. Right? As sort of a microcosm of what every Yid is going to experience throughout his lifetime. Ultimately, the point is to win over the Yetzer Hara. And he has the ability to do so, as per Yaakov Avinu's victory. So now that he's done, that's it, he finished his life's job. He went up to Shemaim to say Shira. Beautiful word. Basically, even the Yetzer Hara wants us to win over him. That's a beautiful piece of inspiration. Don't feel threatened. He's on your side too. He's just pretending. So I have to go back to Shemaim. This is a support to Rav. There are three brand new groups of malachim who say shir every day. Achas Ameris Kaddish, one exclaims Kaddish, Vachas, and the next group Ameris exclaims Kaddish, Vachas, and the third group Ameris Kaddish Hashem Tzivakos. So the third group utters Hashem's name merely after saying just one, preamble, Kaddish Hashem Tzivakos. Meisvei, here comes a kasha, my brisa, where it seems like a malach can't, has to first to precede his Hashem by saying three words. Let's see. Meisvei, with kasha, Chaviven, Yisrael, Nagash Baruch Hu, Yais Malach Hasharis. A Yid is more dear to Hashem than even a malach. We find it in three ways. Yisrael Oimrim Shir B'chol Shah. A Yid can say Shira every day, every minute. Walk into a shul, say Kedusha all day. Umalachi Hasharis, Ein Oimrim Shira, a malach. He has to be, has an appointment. Once a day. Once a week. Once a month. Once a year. Once in 7 years. Once in 50 years. Once in a lifetime. That's number one. So we have that advantage over them. We're free to say shir all the time. Take out a tehillim, sing to Hashem. Number two. In contrast to Yisrael, who can exclaim Hashem's name merely after two words, Shenemar, as it says, Shema Yisrael, and then after two words, Hashem Elokeinu. But a malach has to wait for three words. Malach Hasharis em naskirin es Hashem. They can only utter Hashem's name after three words. Because the pasuk says Kadesh, Kadesh, Kadesh. Only there Hashem Tzivakos. So we see that he has to wait for three words. And earlier we said that the third group says it right away. It just says Kadesh Hashem. That's just one word. We'll get to that soon. The third advantage we have over the malachim. The malachim upstairs do not start their shira ad sheyamru Yisrael lamata, until we give them the green light. Until we start down here, that opens up the door for them upstairs. Shnemar, the pasuk says, "Bron yachad keichei biker." When the Yidden come together and they sing to Hashem, keichavim, Yisrael like stars. Once we get the process started, then come the malachim to complement us. Then it says, Vayariu, they will call out, Kol b'nei Elohim, all the malachim. Okay, so we have three things over the malachim. The second point being that we can say Hashem's name just after two words. A malach has to wait for three words, but in the previous discussion we learned that the first group says Kadesh, second group of malachim says Kadesh, the third group says Kadesh Hashem. Hashem is merely after just one word. You're right, says the Gemara, Ella, we have to revise it. Achas, one group of malachim, Omeres Kadosh, says Kadosh. V'achas, the next one, Omeres Kadosh, Kadosh. Two times Kadosh. V'achas Omeres, the third group says Kadosh, 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 and then Hashem Tzivakos is after three Kadoshes. So as the Gemara, V'ika Baruch. Okay, that explains Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. But what about Baruch Kved Hashem? Malachim say that too, right? Baruch Kved Hashem. So there, it's only after two words, Baruch Kved Hashem. Says the Gemara, we turn to the next page. That's for the higher ranking malachim. Baruch Ifanim Hu Da'amrilei. So that expression is by the Ifanim. Ifanim, Rashi says, is part of the Kisei HaKavod. So it's a higher level. We're talking about just regular malachim. So that's different. Another way to answer that is Kivan D'Yisyav Rishusa. Once the permission was given, so once the first group of malachim sort of, exclaimed Hashem's name after three words, Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh Hashem. So once that happened, it's sort of, again, that makes it, opens up the channel. Isyav now was given and allowed even after merely just, two words. Baruch Kvod Hashem Imkay. Okay, let's do a quick chazar of today's daf. Which Kiranash is Aser? Depends, according to Tanakam, the Chachamim, both sides, right and left. They hold that Yaakov Avinu was attacked on both sides from behind, whereas Rabbi Yehuda holds it's limited to the right side, and we concluded that that's definitive, it's conclusive, and it's based on the way the story happened. Yaakov Avinu angled him to the right, so he hit him on the right side, or because the way he wrapped him. Different explanations why the injury occurred only on the right side, and subsequently that was the Isra. We learned how Yosef prepared for his brothers, ensuring that it was kosher to their satisfaction. We learned about a Talmud Chacham being careful, refraining from traveling out at night on his own. We had several rayas for that. We had the story of Yaakov Avinu, Kvitzas HaDerech, the fused stone, the dream with the Malachim, Hashem's hovering and watching over him, the Shira of the Malach Shel Esav, which led us into a whole discussion regarding the Shira of the Malachim. Ultimately, a Yid stands higher than a Malach in many ways. All the best to you and Hatzlacha.